So the question today is, how do I explain that I quit my job because it was a toxic environment? I always heard you're not supposed to bash your past employer, but it was toxic. That's why I left. How do I explain that on a job interview? I'm afraid of having to answer the question, why did you leave without having another job? I don't want to go into the whole story, and I don't want to make myself look like a bad employee, whatever. What should I do? This question comes from Gus. Gus, here's the thing. I will give you the words, but the words to answer the question, why did you quit your job without having another job, are not nearly as important as your mindset about it. Let's talk about what you've been through, okay? You worked in this place where it was toxic. It was abusive, really. And there are probably people right there, right now, doing that job that you used to work with, that you wish for them that they could do what you do and get out, but they were not in a position to do it, or they were too afraid. And that makes all kinds of sense, because when people are beaten down in an abusive work environment, they don't feel like, let me go job hunt. I have all my power and I'm going to job hunt. No, they're just trying to get through the day. And we get very depleted, and they stay, unfortunately, just like people stay in bad romantic relationships that are abusive. They stay in bad workplace relationships with their employers too. And unfortunately, when it comes to partner violence, a lot of folks will say, hey, come stay with me, stay on my couch. You got to get out of that abusive place. But very seldom do our friends say, you got to get out of that abusive job, come stay on my couch, right? I wish they said that more often. But you got out, Gus. You did that for yourself. You're a superhero right now because you already left the terrible environment. You've raised yourself up to a higher level, and you are mighty, right? So anybody that doesn't want to deal with this new, mighty, empowered, self-empowered Gus doesn't have to. If they don't want to hire you because they require more information about how you dared to get off the conveyor belt before you had another job lined up, like this is some immutable law of the universe that you must have another job lined up, and no one's ever allowed to just take time for themselves to recover, to feel strong, to regroup, to think about what they want next, to reinvent. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. You don't have time for them. You don't need every single employer to like you, Gus. You need one hiring manager that you and they resonate at the same frequency. That's it. So when you go on an interview and they say, so Gus, why did you quit your job before you had another job to go to? You're going to say, I learned a lot at that job. It was the first time I did a product launch where I was responsible for all the documentation or whatever. But when I realized it was time to move on and keep growing in my career, I also could see that it wasn't the kind of job I could do while conducting a job search on the side. It really required all of my attention. So I quit to be able to focus full time on my next chapter.